keep it in the same grip. Just force yourself to do that and you should get better. And lastly, of course, you can learn some EP algs. Brandon has a pretty good video with a few good ones that all beginners should know, and I'll link that in the description. I think those are pretty useful to know. So yeah, I think your turning is pretty good. There's a few things you can work on, but overall, I think you're set to get sub 20. Alright, for the skewb chip, you had a decent solution, something like this, the scalp kite. So you definitely want to work on your pauses during CS. You should be able to look ahead to 2 slices during CS. So here, there's a go up here, create an L, bring this to the left, bring it down, and then scalp kite. So yeah, it should be pretty quick and smooth, and not having a pause in between. It's pretty unnecessary. Also for this case, it's a pretty easy solution. All I have to do is bring this down and you get shield square. So that's pretty useful to know. Also, your CS execution is kind of weird. You're kind of using this grip where you click like this for your moves, which is not that great for the square one. Again, you want to be using this kind of technique where you hold your thumb and your fingers on layers like this, and that will make your solves a bit more smooth. Again, I have a video on how to finger trick like this, so you do want to avoid finger tricking like this and go more like this for square one. Alright, for CO, just 2 things you definitely don't want to do. First is pause during CO. CO is always like 3 slices at max, so you never want to pause during that. Second of all is doing lefty moves. Of course, it is not that necessary. You can always just hold your left hand in a death grip kind of, and then only turn on the right slice. So over here, instead of doing something like this and then lefty turning or whatever, look once, got this here, these 2, go straight into it. So again, during EO, your turning is an issue. You're turning pretty fast, but you're not turning correctly. You should be turning like this while turning the slices, so you never regrip. Not exactly sure what EO alg use, but these are 4 slices and you should be doing them relatively quick. And you kind of did this kind of style of turning, which is really bad. Instead, you can kind of do it gripless, and you'll notice that your solves are going to be much faster using these EO algs. Your CP finger trick was a lot better. You're holding it like this, alternating, so it's gripless, so that's nice. But of course, you do want to try to avoid the pause during CP. So again, same trick, opposite, means solid at the back. For the EP, you kind of paused quite a bit too, which is kind of confusing because it's pretty clear what it is, at least to me. You have 2 solids here and opposites here, so it's pretty clear that you have op-op, but it did take you a while to recognize this. But a quick trick is that from CP you can kind of notice that there's going to be 2 blocks here. Maybe you didn't see this, but the bomb also has 2 blocks, so you should know immediately after doing CP that you get a 2-edge case from here. Also, your execution was a bit off. You did M2, U2, M2, and then you did the bar flip, which is I think 7 slices, and that's way too much for that simple alg. So first off, op with bar flip is pretty simple. Just do this out. Again. That solves op in 3 slices, and it flips the bar. But if you are going to do this op thing, and you don't want to do the other thing, which you should be doing, definitely cancel into the bar flip instead of doing it and then canceling. You should definitely do something like this, op, and then cancel into the bar flip. So again, you don't want to do op and then the bar flip. Do op, and then the last move, cancel into the bar flip. That's gonna make yourselves a lot cleaner. So for CS, there's not much to say. Again, just focus on your finger tricks, doing something like this, and looking ahead 2 slices during CS. So 2 slices, go straight into the CS. Next for here, obviously you want to do the execution a bit more smooth, but another thing is that you have a yellow top, I believe. and you're solving white top, which is a mistake I mentioned in the other solve, which is not good. So instead what you should do here is, first slice is fine, but in the second slice just do something like this to get your yellow top. So again, first slice is fine, second slice, get the yellow top, because that's what you should be doing. For EO, you did your AO kind of weird. It's not the greatest AO. Definitely learn full EO if you want to get better. I don't think there's much to say there really. Learn full EO and learn the correct finger tricks there. CP, same thing. Recognize CP a bit better. For the EP though, you got a U-perm, and I think what we did was something like this. JN and then JN again, which is way too many moves. If you are going to do JN, definitely don't do it like this. You locked up quite a bit, and that's partially because the finger trick's not that great. What we want to do is hold it like this, again, something like this, with this kind of turning, which is much better. Here's a few things you can do. First off, you can learn the out for this case, which goes like this. If that's too long for you, another thing you can do is something like this, JJ, and then JJ again. All thing you can do here is do edge, 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 edge. So lots of things you can do here, but definitely don't do that Jan thing. That's kind of slow. So for CS, definitely don't do left slice. That's really bad. Instead, what you do here is something like this to solve the kite with the right slice. And also you should be seeing that whole thing in inspection and not doing one slice and then looking ahead for that. For CO, EO, CP, it's pretty much everything I said already, like finger tricks, work on that. And your EO AUG was kind of bad too, so learn better AUGs. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it could be better, so learn the proper AUGs for that. And then finally for EP, you did M2 to M2, which is eh. What we should be doing here for op O is look at the direction of the O, it's going clockwise, so we're going to move the D layer counterclockwise. So M2 counterclockwise, M2 counterclockwise, M2. That's how we solve the op O, which is 6 slices, which is really good. So overall, I think your turning's pretty fast, above normal actually, but there's a few things you can improve. First off, your turning style should be improved. You should be doing more of these kind of moves, like this, and less of this kind of style of turning. Secondly, you want to learn better AUGs. So, example, op O, and some other EO cases, you definitely want to learn them. Learn the correct AUGs from fast skewbers, and learn to execute them correctly, so that you don't have to regret. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You're pretty set to becoming sub 20. Just work on those few things and you should be fine. For your CS, you did something like this. You brought this up to make scalp kite, but then what you did here is kind of rotate it to solve it from this angle, which is not really that great. So a few things you can do here. So instead, what you can do is like this, and learn this out for this case, and goes like this. That's gonna make yourselves a lot better. So definitely know CS cases from different angles. So from front, from back, this one goes like this. You also want to know what ones are flipped as well. So this one goes like this. You should know that for pretty much all your CS cases, like know them from different angles. If you don't want to deal with that, with this case, what you can do is do a Y2 and do a slice, and there's your better angle scalp height if you really wanted to. CO and EO seem fine to me. One thing for EO though is you kind of like looked at the bottom twice for EO, and maybe that's just a hesitation or whatever, but you should, during EO, just look at the bottom once and then do the EO AUG. But for CP, here you kind of had a pause. Again, the trick with the opposites pops up, that is the soft corners. Definitely use that one. Another suspicion I might have about you pausing is because you want to look for the blocks. Something that might help is that if you align one block, you're good to go. So don't ever worry about aligning more than one block. When you align one block, that's all you need to do. Maybe you're looking for the top layer, but there's no blocks here. But if you're looking at the bottom layer, trying to look for more than one block to preserve, just don't worry about it. Just see the block here in the front and just do it from here. Next for EP, you did M2 to M2, which is alright, but I would prefer to do the 3 slicer, but I don't know, that's you. And then for the U-perm, you did the U-perm, and you did not cancel the bar flip, and then you did the bar flip after. What you should do is cancel the bar flip with every EP out that you have. It is a bit hard at first, but you have to get into the habit of canceling every time for every alg. Not just like the parity alg or whatever, but for aj, U-perm, pretty much every alg you should be able to cancel the bar flip. So your CS case was not that great, which is understandable why you paused a bit there. But what you should be able to do is something like this. But for this case, instead of doing a D2, you can go ahead and make the square like this. And then you get square shield. So you don't have to do that D2. Also, I may as well show you the optimal way of solving it is something like this. Kind of make this case, and then connect them again. Bring them down again and get the scab scalp. For EOCO, not really any huge problems there. Few things though. First off, you don't want to hesitate again. Looking at the bottom twice, you don't need to do that for one step. You also want to avoid doing D moves with your right hand. The reason why is because that's gonna be a regrip from here to here, back to here. That's way too much. You can do a few things though. You can go like this and push it like that, or something with your thumb. But pretty much don't regrip through those D moves. It's not great. So like your last solve, your CP got a bit of a pause, but I already mentioned that. But for EP, you got op aj. So a few things you can do here. First off, you can learn the alg for this, which I don't really like that much. So here's the second thing you can do. This is actually much more intuitive as well. What we do is you set up the op next to each other, and you want to preserve these. So put these next to each other, like that. And from here, go ahead and do an aj to solve the bottom edge and the top edge, because we turned the op into an edge. So aj, move it back. From here, just undo those moves. So again, put these next to each other, and then do the aj. Undo the moves, and that's how you can solve op edge. For the CS, you did something like this for a scalp kite, which is not actually that bad, but a better solution would be something like this: one slice into pon. There's not much to say about the rest of the solve, pretty much. COEO, again, don't hesitate, just do everything in one look. Look once, and then do the alg. Look once, and then do the alg. And don't hesitate, really. CP, again, don't pause. And then another mistake with EP was not canceling into the bar flip. So again, you definitely want to always cancel into your bar flip with every alg that you do. So overall, I think your main advantage is that your turning is really smooth. You're doing this alternating slice thing really well, which allows you for much better TPS. But there are a few things you can work on. So for CS, you should learn some cases from multiple angles, for example, scalp kite. You know from this angle, which is obvious, but you should also know from this angle, maybe from the back as well. So definitely know cube shape from multiple angles. This will help you a lot in the long run. Your CO and EO is pretty fine, but work on your hesitations a bit. So you don't want to look at the bottom twice or anything, just look at it for half a second and then do the ALG. During EO though, you want to look into CP. This will help your pause during CP be much better. During EO, look at the corners and their positions, and you can kind of tell what your CP is going to be from there. During CP, just try to look ahead and preserve one block from both layers. That's all you need to do. Your EP seems pretty fine as well, just another problem with pausing. One thing you can do is look ahead during CP into EP. So during CP, you kind of know with what blocks you preserve, which parts will be solved during EP, and you can kind of tell what kind of EP you're going to get during CP. Because you know any blocks you preserve will be solved, and what you have left is the EP case you get. Also, you definitely want to cancel the bar flip. This is a huge bad habit a lot of people get. So whenever you're at the last step and you know you have to flip the bar, definitely just cancel that bar flip. And definitely don't get in the bad habit of solving the cube, realizing the bar is flipped, and then doing the bar flip. That just wastes way too much time. Alright, lastly for the general tips for people who are trying to get sub 20, there's 3 main mistakes that I've seen people make. First off is turning. You definitely want to be using this kind of style of turning where you alternate your slice like this. It's going to allow for much faster TPS in your turning. You don't really want to be doing this kind of thing. It's just not that great. And also stuff like rotations and stuff like this and stuff like that. That's generally going to slow your solves down, so don't do that kind of stuff. Next mistake is going to be your pauses. So a lot of people have tons of pauses when they're trying to get sub 20. For cube shape, don't inspect for like 1 second. Make sure you're using an inspection time to see as far as you can. In general, you don't want to pause at all, but if you have a pretty bad case, you can always pause 1 time, but don't pause more than 1 time. That's just unnecessary. COEO should be 1 quick pause, half a second, look at the bottom, and then do your ALG. You shouldn't be looking at the bottom twice or having any hesitations. It should be look at the top, bottom, do the ALG. It should be really fast. During EO, look ahead to CP, so you minimize the pause. In CP, find the block quickly from the top and bottom layer that you want to preserve, and then just do the ALG quickly without pausing. Most of the pauses will happen during EP, so here's a few tips. First off, you don't want to evaluate each layer by themselves. So you shouldn't be looking at the top for the EP and then bottom for the EP. You should be doing EP as the whole cube, so not just looking at one layer at a time. Another huge thing is to look ahead during CP. Look at what blocks are preserved. I'm just going to show you how many edges are going to be solved at that layer. So lastly, execution. That's the last mistake I see a lot. So during CP and EO, those are just spam of ALG. You should definitely know all the ALGs, and that's not really a big problem. Cube shape is a bit of a problem though. You want to know some cases from multiple angles, so from the front and the back. That's definitely very important. You also want to know the mirrors from the slices, so you don't have to rotate to solve them. So you should start expanding a bit beyond scallop kite by now. So stuff like pawn, there's a lot of cases that lead to this, and that's actually pretty useful to know. EP also, there's a lot of ALGs that a lot of people don't know. Stuff like op, this one. This is pretty important, and a lot of people don't actually know this one. Also stuff like edge and bottom, the one slice, the parity, and then under that slice. That's really important to know. Also stuff like edge in the front that can help with some U2D2s. So there's like various EP and CS techniques that you should know. I do have a huge video of 100 tips for square one. It has a lot of tips for EP and lots of tips for CS. So definitely check that video out. I will leave it in the comments. It's a really good video. It has over 100 tips for square one. But in those tips, there's a lot of really great tips for EP and CS. So to end this video off, I'll be showing 3 example solves of my own. They're all sub 20, and it should show an example of how sub 20 solves should look like. So the cube shape was done pretty well here. There's no pauses really during the whole cube shape, and it flowed really smoothly with the finger tricking. Remember that at this time range, you should be having pretty much no pauses during cube shape, or at most 1 for bad cases. The CO and EO is pretty good. There's no hesitation during the pause, just 1 pause and then do the ALG. Another really important thing is that these ALGs are done really smoothly without regrips or anything like that. So the ALG is pretty smooth here, but the more important thing is that during EO, I looked ahead to the CP. This allowed a very smooth transition between EO and CP. I also recognized the blocks pretty quickly. I saw them in the front and I immediately aligned them to preserve the blocks. Here's a pretty good ending. I didn't notice ALG, so I used the optimal way of solving this with edge, and then edge on the bottom. I also canceled the bar flip, so I wouldn't have to do it after the solve. I won't be commentating on the rest of these solves, but it should be pretty self-explanatory on what I did right to get sub 20. You can feel free to compare these solves with your own to see what you're doing right or wrong. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Please leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll be trying my best to answer all of them. Also, if you have some solves that you would like me to critique, be sure to leave that in the comments below as well. I can't guarantee doing another video critique for you, but I can try my best to help you and reply with some tips. So yeah, thanks for watching, hope this was helpful. In this video, I'll be showing you how to do advanced cube shape on square 1, as well as showing you how to solve every single square 1 cube shape case optimally. A few things before this video starts. There's a ton of cube shape cases, there's actually 90 of them, and that's not including mirrors, so with mirrors there's 180, which is a lot. For that reason, while I'll be showing all the cases, I won't be showing all the mirrors, and you kind of have to figure that out on your own. Another really important part of cube shape is to be able to do different cases from different angles. Again, there are a ton of angles for every cube shape case, which is why I won't be showing every single angle. Lastly, here's one quick tip on how to make cube shape angles a bit better. So the way you do this is to manipulate cube shape angles. So for example here, in this case, which you might not know but that's not important, there's two ways you can do this. Since the bar is not flipped, you can execute this cube shape at this angle, or this angle, which is the Y2 angle. So being able to pick between two angles allows your finger tricks to be usually a bit better. Here's another CS case, but here the bar is flipped. So again, you have two choices on how to execute this. First off, from this angle. Second off, you can't do a Y2, but what you can do is this rotation. So you have these two angles to execute this ao100. So manipulating your angles is quite important during CS, so you always want to make sure that you check every single angle and see which rotation gives you the best CS angle to execute the ao100. So a lot of CS cases can be done optimally, but in different ways. But in this video, I'll only be showing one solution for every case to make it a bit more simple. Also, since there's so many cases to go through, I will be going a bit fast in this video. So if you need to, just pause the video, go back, or maybe slow it down. So let's just start off with the easiest CS case, which is kite. So kite is when you have a shape like this. So you can think of it as two L's or maybe a pair here and a line here. And that's on both sides. So when you get kite, it's pretty simple. Just do one slash and that solves the cube shape. So again, looks like this, slash to solve it. Next is barrel. So this one is when you have a pair here and a pair here from opposite sides of the puzzle. Same for the bottom layer. So if you have barrel on top, barrel on bottom, what you can do is do one slice from this angle to turn it into kite, and then solve it from there. Of course, different angles matter. So if it's in this angle, the same thing, one slice into kite, and then solve it. The next easy case is fist. So fist is when you have a pair here and then an L there. So a pair and an L, like that. Now in order to do this good fist alg, you want to make sure that the fists on top and bottom are mirror images of each other. So as you can see here, if there's a straight line here, this is a complete reflection of the other side. If it's not, you cannot use this alg, and you have to use a different alg, which will be shown later in this video. So if you do have this good fist, what you can do is go ahead and do this two slice alg. So make kite with this one slice, and then finish it off with kite. Now this is also another case with a ton of angles you can do it from. So here's another one. If it's like this, you can make the kite by pairing this and this, and this and this. Like that, to make cube shape. Here's some other angles you can do it from. So again, it's the same thing, good fist. So here you can make the kite like this and this. So slice to make cube shape. And then here's another fist, slice here, slice. So good fist has quite a lot of angles you can execute it from. So it's quite important to know as many as possible. The next case is scallop kite. So kite is uniform, but then scallop is when you have the 4 here, like this. And this is quite an important CS alg. It's going to be used a ton later in this video, but here is how we do it. So hold them like this, so that you're breaking them symmetrically with the slice, and then slice, and now you have fist, which you can do like this to create kite, and then solve the CS. To show another angle, here's it when the scalp is in the back and the kite's in the back, like this. So again, it's slice, but this time do fist from this angle. So like this, slice, slice. So again, like this. Here's scallop. So again, it's the 4 and then the 4. So top and bottom layer both forward. And if you know this alg with the 8, then it's going to be quite similar to this alg because this is just one slice away from this. So if you have the scallop like here and here, you can go and split them both. Now you have the barrel, and you can solve that. Again, it's quite important to know cases from different angles. So if it's in the back, same thing, slice, and then do barrel. Here's shield. So shield is when you have 2 pairs, but they're separated by 1 corner. So this, and then this. So this is shield, and when you have shield on top and bottom, it's quite simple. From this angle, go ahead and do 1 slice, and then you're left with barrel, which is easy. So again, this alg can be done from several angles. Here's an example of another one. So from here, I can do slice, and then barrel. Here's mushroom. So mushroom or muffin sometimes. It's when you have the 3 and then the 1 opposite from it. So if you have it on top and bottom, go ahead and do this. You can use the lines of the mushrooms and then the pairs of the mushrooms to create a barrel in 1 slice like this. So be careful if they're lined up. So make sure it's not like this. Otherwise you'll get something that's not barrel. Make sure it's lined up in a way that this 2 is opposite of this 2, and then you get barrel. From here you can just solve it. So again, this can be done from this angle. So create the barrel, and then just solve from here. So here you have barrel kite. So here it's also pretty simple. Just 1 slice here, and you're left with fist. So different angle. So let's say the kite is misaligned like this. What we can do here for barrel kite is this. Slice. And then we have fist. And then solve fist like this. Next we have shield square. So square is just a square. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So when you have this case, it's simple. Go ahead and do this. 1 slice here. And that creates fist. And then solve that. So here's the mirror. So instead of doing it from here, so we have square on top, shield on bottom. Also pretty simple. 1 slice into fist, which can solve like this. And that solves the case. Here's mushroom square. So bottom is a square again. Top here is a mushroom though. So pretty simple. Bring this thing down and create fist like this. And finish off the rest. Here's another angle. This time the bottom is misaligned, and we'll bring this down to create this fist, and then solve it from there. So next we have pawn. So pawn is whenever you have these 3 here, and then this 1, all on one side of the cube, like this. Same for the bottom. So kind of like fist, the way you know this is a good pawn is if there's a line here, these are perfect reflections of each other, like this. If they are not, then you have another case, which we covered later in this video. But for here, what we can do is something like this. Slice here, and yeah, fist. Here's the mirror. So again, hold them like this in a way that they're reflections of each other. Break up the L and the 2, slice, and then solve the fist. So before moving on, I would highly recommend going through each of those easy cases, going through their mirrors and their different angles that you can solve them in, and making sure that you master those cases. This is quite important because the rest of the cases of cube shape will lead into these cases, so it's quite important that you know these cases from different angles and you're able to master those cases before you get to the next cases. Also, for the rest of the cases, I won't be going through mirrors and angles, so you will have to kind of go through that by yourself. So first off, I'll be going through cases that go through scalp kite because scalp kite is quite a popular case to see. So here, this case I have the 4 here and an L here and an L here. So first off, just connect these two L's like this, and then we're left with scalp kite, which is simple. Next we have this. We have 4 here and 1 L here, and we have the 2 here. So bring down this L. Now we have kite on bottom and scalp on top, and then do that. Same concept here. It's on the other side, but that's fine. So here I have 4 here and an L, and then the 2 here. So slice here to create scalp kite, and here is actually a great place to do scalp kite from the back. Because if you do it in the front, you have to do like a U2, so doing it from the back is actually a bit better there. So this time I have an L on the bottom and then this case on top. So this time I can think of it as 4 and then an L. So with this 4 and 1 L, I can connect these two L's like this. And then now I have scalp kite. Similar case here, I have the 4 and 1 L, and I have this L here. Go ahead and connect these L's, and then I have scalp kite, which I will do from the back here, which is a bit better. Finally, this case, so I have muffin or mushroom and then shield. So this is pretty simple. So I have the 2 here and the 2 here that can make a scallop. We'll bring this down, which makes the kite, which is perfect. So from here, slice here. Now I have scalp kite, which I'll do from the back here. So here I have the 4 and then the 2 on top and then 1 line on bottom. So this is also pretty simple. Just bring down the 2 on the bottom to create the kite. Now we have scalp kite. Another case here with the 4 and the 2 on top again, and then line on bottom. Hold the line on the left and create kite like this. Bring down the 2, scalp kite, and this time I'll do it from the back. So here I have scallop and then square here. So what I can do here is hold the 4 to the left to preserve it. And I have 2 L's here. So I put these 2 L's together, that creates kite, which is what I want, scallop kite. So here what I can do is bring this 2 up here to preserve it. Bring this L here and bring the L back down. So then after that I get scallop kite. So again, bring this L up, bring this L over, bring this L down. Now I have scallop kite here. Here I have pawn square. So for here, pretty similar. Can bring up this L here to the top. Now we're left with a 4 and an L. And now we can connect these 2 L's to create scalp kite. So again, you're using one of these L's to create the 4 here. And to bring out the remaining L to get scalp kite. Pretty similar here. I have the 3 and the 1, which is the pawn here, and then the square on bottom. So I can create the 4, bring one of these L's up. Now we have 2 L's here, which we can connect. And then we're left with scalp kite. So here I have a line on bottom and a bunch of edges here on top. So what I can do here is preserve the 4 first, and then bring this line up. Now when I bring this line up, you'll notice that I have 4 and an L, and then an L here. So again, from here, take this line and replace the L. Now I have 4 and L, and then another L here. So from here, connect the L's. So I can do it like this. Bring it down, and now there's scalp kite, which is flipped over, which is fine. Do it from this angle. Here's a very similar case. So I have this and this line. So take this line, kick out this L. Then you'll notice that I have 4, this L, which is perfect. Connect these 2 L's to make it the kite, and now I have scalp kite, which I can do from this angle like this. Here's another case. I have the 4 here, and this L here, and this line here. So preserve this 4, and take this line and replace this L. then you'll notice that I have this L again on top, this L on bottom, and the 4 here. So connect these L's. Now I have scalp kite. So again, take this line to replace this. Now in this case, connect the L's to create scalp kite, and then solve scalp kite. So here I have pawn barrel. So what I can do here is bring the 2 up to create a larger block. And by creating this big block, you'll notice that I have this line and this pair here. So by connecting those, I get scallop kite, and I can solve from here. Here's a similar case, pawn barrel. So again, bring up the 2 here. That creates this 4 and this line. And with this line and this 2, connect them to make scalp kite, and solve that. Here are some more similar cases. So here, again I have this pawn on top, but this time I have shield on bottom. Very similar though. Bring this 2 up on top to create the bigger block. Now I have 4 in a line. Connect the line down, and scalp kite. Same thing here. Pawn on top, shield on bottom. Bring the 2 up to create a bigger block here. Now I have 4 in a line, and this 2. Bring the line down, scalp kite. So here's some more similar cases. Again, pawn on top, 4 on bottom as a scallop. Same idea, bring up 2 like this to go ahead and create this 4 in a line. Bring the line and the 2 together like this, scalp kite, and then solve that. Same idea here, pawn, scallop, bring the 2 from the scallop up to create this 4 in one line. Line and 2 can make the kite, scalp kite. So here we have another case, 4 on top, a pair here, and then the L here. So what we can do is bring this 2 to the bottom while bring this L to the top. And what that does is creates 4 in a line while preserving the pair on the bottom. So one move here, bring it back down, and now we have the line and the 2 paired up. So we have scalp kite now. So again, we have 4, 2, and then the L. Bring the L up while hiding this. Now we have the 4 in the line, which creates scalp kite like this. And then solve this from this angle. Very similar case here, 4, 2, L. So hide this 2 while inserting this L up here. Now we have this case, which is the 4 and then the line. Connect the line and the pair while bringing down the 4. So now we have scalp kite, and then solve it from here. Here are a few more cases. This time we have scallop and then fist on bottom. So what we can do here is preserve this 2 on the left and connect this L with the 4. This creates the 4 and now a line. So with this line, we can bring this line down to the bottom, connect it with the 2 to make a scallop kite, like this. Same concept here. Let's hold the 2 on the left, 4 preserve it on the left side. We can bring this L up to the top to create this 4 in a line. Bring down this line to the bottom. Now we have scallop kite. Here are the next 3 cases. So here I have pawn kite. For this one, if you hold the kite in the back, you can notice this L, and you can bring this up to form 4 here. So if you go ahead and slice up here, create 4 here, and create the L here. Then you can use this L and this L, connect them to make the kite, scallop kite, and then just solve it from here. Here's a very similar case, pawn kite. Again, we can bring one of the L's up to create 4 in L, and then connect the L's together to make the kite, then scallop kite. Then there's this one. For this one, to make scallop kite, you can move this 2 over to here. So first you would hide this while preserving this. So preserve the 4, hide the line to the top layer, move the 2 over, bring the line back down. Now you have scallop kite. So next there is fist kite. So for this one, what we want to do is connect this L with the 2 here, which creates 3. And then what we do is connect another L to the back of this to create 4. Now we have the 2 L's, connect the 2 L's, and then get scalp kite. The same is done here. We have the 2 here and then the L here. Take the L, connect it with the 2. Connect this L with these 3 like this. And then connect the 2 L's here. Then we get scalp kite and then we're done. For fist square, it's a very similar idea. So here we have the 2 again. We can take the L from the square, connect it with the 2 to make 3. Then we can take the L from the bottom here, connect it with these 3 to make 4 and then L. Connect the 2 L's, scalp kite. For this fist, same idea. Hold the 2 to the left, attach 1 L to it like this, attach an L from the back to create 4 and 1 L, connect the L's and then scalp kite. Here are a few more cases. So here I have 3 and 3 and then a pair on bottom. So what I can do here is again connect the pair with the block to create a bigger block, and that creates the 4 and a line and with a pair on bottom. So from here create the bigger block. Now we have a line and a pair which can make into a kite, and now we have scalp kite. For here there's 6 and then an L here. So what we can do is take this L and kick out this pair here like this. Now we're with this familiar case again, 4 in a line and then the pair. So connect the line and the pair to create the kite and scalp kite here. Here are some more complex cases that go into scalp kite as well. So here we have this huge block and then this one here. So what we can do here is pretty simple. Just bring this L down to reduce it to the previous case, which is this one, and then solve this case, which is take this out, kick out this 2. You have this now, make it into scalp kite, and then solve it. So again, just bring out this lower L and just solve this case. So take this out, set it up in scalp kite, and then solve it. Next, there's this case, which isn't that great, but it can also be brought into scalp kite. So what I can do is bring this down like this, and now I have these 2 pieces, and I can take one of those pairs to create a bigger block on top like this. After that, I have the 4 and then the line as well as the pair in the bottom, which is a very familiar case. Bring the line down, then we have scalp kite. Now into the scalp cases. There are also quite a bit of them, and they're also quite easy. So yeah, here's the first one, which you might already know, just the 8. So just break up the 8 into the 4 and 4, which is the scalp, and just solve.